to do battle here. Again, one of these players will be a 2-time SCG Tour Open champion. And will it be Dredge or is it Phoenix that takes the trophy home here in Louisville? We will find out momentarily. SCGKY featuring the Season 1 Invitational taking place just 2 weeks from now. That's going to be an absolute blast to watch as these players have moved up and down the leaderboard all year long. It would have been very easy to say, Drake Sasser coming into this event with 80 points in 14th place.
Yeah, you're done.
Seems so far-fetched for him to catch back up.
Right, you got your buys and you got a crack at it Season 2 and, a good run, But now you're here and you have an opportunity to really make a shot at it in 2 weeks. Getting back on a plane here in 10 days.
That's true.
Or 11 days, whatever it is. Thursday.
Yeah. Sooner than we think.
Early. I get in early on Roanoke.
I think I get in in the afternoon.
I think I land at 1:30 on Thursday.
So I'm coming from Cleveland.
Oh, you spent some time with the
folks.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Summer trip.
Yeah. I think I fly out of Denver at 6 in the morning on Thursday.
I will say there are no direct flights from Cleveland to Roanoke.
Roanoke is nestled away.
Yeah, I think I'm taking a quick hop up to Detroit and then down, or it's either Atlanta down and then up. It's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Denver to Atlanta.
There you go. A lot of haters of that airport. One of my favorites.
Of which one?
Atlanta.
I love it for its size.
It's so easy to navigate.
For a big airport, yeah.
Bunch of trains. We're underway. Tomajko's going to start things off with a wooded foothills.
I thought you were talking about Denver, which is an F.
No.
An F.
No, Denver Airport's really bad.
Extremely bad.
It's really, really bad.
So
it's in the middle of nowhere.
What I've occasionally made fun of Minneapolis' airport for being designed by a Minotaur, just like the sprawling, circuitous. Denver's just one long line. It's like one 3-mile long hallway. And it's an hour outside the city.
Drake replacing a sleeve before resolving his serum visions. There we are. Time to draw and scry 2. This should be a fun one. We're going to head over to Oliver here in just a moment. Oliver's going to sacrifice that wooded foothills on Drake's end step. Going to fall down to 19. We'll see. Probably a blood crypt. Could be a stomping grounds, though. There's a blood crypt.
And I think Tomajko has Cathartic Reunion plus some dredgers here. So
I would have to assume, right? If he doesn't play Faithless or Shriekhorn on 1, then you have to assume Cathartic on 2.
I think he's got the possibility of a very big turn coming here.
I've said it many times this weekend, but I'll say it again. This is back-to-back finals appearances here for Oliver Tomajko. That is not an easy thing to do, no matter what tournament circuit you are playing on. And in this particular one, he lost in the finals last week in Zan Saeed. Now he plays in the finals again against Drake Sasser. Dredge, 5. 2 Chills. Narcomoeba. Loam. Blood Crypt. The next one is a prized amalgam. Here's a Narcomoeba. Conflagrate. Cathartic Reunions, another Narcomoeba. This is
a monster. I mean, this is the type of dredge that even if Sasser has Sting in the Ice, might not be fast enough.
Crippin' Chill's going to bring Sasser down to 13. Tomajko's going to scooch on up to 25. Amalgam will be coming back too. We can't forget about the Conflagrate that's in the graveyard, which means Conflagrate is the answer to Thing in the Ice to blow that up, or to show up.
And Tomajko's found a Loam too, so he also has he can start the grind to land number 3, land number 4. Loam again and conflagrate you out.
Steam Vent's going to enter the battlefield and tap their Sting in the Ice. Sasser's going to fall down to 11. And truth be told, I think this Sting in the Ice is probably going to die, and Drake might be as well.
I mean, yeah, this might be. I mean, the ceiling here is a turn 3 kill, which is not very common out of this deck.
Yeah. There's a Dredging of Loam. A lot of cards in Tomajko's hand. Yep, there's your attack. 3, 4, 5, 6. Tomajko has, I think, 7 cards in hand. Yeah, so, yeah, Drake's just dead.
Yep.
He just knows he's dead.
Just turn 3.
Yep.
No big.
That was easy. Okay. Oliver Tomajko wins game 1 in short
yeah,
order.
I was gonna say, often what comes down to in this matchup is turn 2 thing in the ice, and do you have a draw that's good enough to flip it on the third turn, transform it on the third turn? We didn't even get there.
No.
That didn't even come up.
No, we did not. So let's go to Drake Sasser, who's gotten out the helpful folder. That's how he wants to sideboard against Dredge. Well, 3 surgical extractions are obvious. 2 Spell Pierce, 2 Blood Moon, 2 Alpine Moon. And here come the one-ofs in Beacon Bolt, Anger of the Gods. Sahili, Sublime Artificer, Jace, the Mind Sculptor, Flame Slash, and Dispel. Ignoring surgical extractions, what do we like here and why?
Well, Anger of the Gods is really good. It exiles a bunch of threats. I like Spell Pierce, particularly on the play. There's some draws where Tomajko's going to just be all about resolving a 2 spell early on to get the ball rolling. Fighting over that's very effective. And I like Blood Moon in this matchup too. It's a little non-intuitive because it's not like Dredge. Dredge is basically just milling its deck over. It's not like it's casting a whole lot of spells. But a Blood Moon shuts off the ability of the deck to go to Loam and then generate the resources to cast a big Confligate.
Let's go to the other side of things here for Oliver, who is very quickly up a game. He's got 4 Nature's Claims, 3 Lightning Axe, 3 Ancient Grudge, 2 Leyline of the Void, a Blast Zone, a Assassin's Trophy, and an Alpine Moon.
So I would definitely bring in the 3 copies of Lightning Axe. I think that I'm interested in the Blast Zone here. There's not a whole lot to do with the Ghost Quarters. You can sideboard that out pretty easily. And Blast Zone gives Tomajko a way to fight over Blood Moon, Thing in the Ice, maybe a couple other permanents. What's interesting to me is what do you do with Leyline of the Void? Certainly there are some things going on with Sasser's Graveyard, but by no means a graveyard deck. A lot of his most powerful cards in the matchup have nothing to do with the graveyard, like Thing in the Ice, so that could come in, maybe not, but if you're already committed to the 3 Lightning Axes, you might not really have the wiggle room to bring in a 4th and 5th spell.
Well, as we have mentioned many times here this weekend, this is the final open of Season 1 of the SCG Tour before we head on down to Roanoke, Virginia at the Berglund Center for the next SCGCon Summer. Last one that we had in the winter and the last summer one too. Both awesome turnouts. Everybody had a lot of fun, and you can expect more of the same 2 weeks from now. We'll show you why right now. We will see you there 2 weeks from now. But you said, yeah, I think we're flying on Thursday. That's about 10 days, 11 days.
Yeah.
It's going to be quick.
I want to take it back about Blast Zone.
What's up?
Not good against Blood Moon. Still good against Thing in the Ice, but
Yeah, not good against Blood Moon, right?
not good against Blood Moon.
Because, you know.
You're right. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Yeah, you get it.
But I think it's still worth bringing in because the Ghost Quarter is kind of that flex slot and nothing to do with the Ghost Quarter in this matchup.
Drake Sasser going to be on the play here for game number 2. He's actually just kind of buzzsawed his way through this top 8. Reminds me a lot of the Open he won in Worcester last year that we covered when we covered the Legacy Open, where he just blew through everybody with Grixis Delver.
First overall seed, too. Here, he just
He crushed everyone in that top 8, and he did it in like an hour and a half.
He won a wild game 1 there on the match that you were tracking life totals on.
Against Dilks?
No, Tomajko.
Yeah.
The Azorius control player.
Yeah. No.
Wild game 1. And Tomajko, naturally, a busted 7-card hand here.
The kid doesn't want to lose in the finals again.
Busted.
Okay.
With even a Lightning Axe to play around with.
No interest in losing back-to-back finals. Doesn't feel good. Sasser taking a long look at it. All right, it looks like they're happy enough. It's an island to start here for Drake. Now there is a Serum Visions. He'll draw a card. Time to scry 2. Looks like I'll leave them both on top. Let's go over to Oliver. Keep in mind, after sideboard, Sasser does have access to 3 copies of Surgical Extraction. Those could play a role in things. And this is a Faithless Looting. Bloodghast and Conflagrate will go to the graveyard.
No, I do not believe that Tomajko had picked up a second land.
There's Thing in the Ice. Test number 1 here for Tomajko. Tomajko picked up another copy of Faithless Looting.
I mean, the greedy play here is to looting, hope to find land number 2.
Well, he was thinking about it.
And take care of Thing in the Ice.
He stopped himself.
The safer play is the Lightning Axe, but it's not like there's, the likelihood that Sasser can transform next turn, it's not the highest. He may not even want to, even if he could, because you want to wait until Tomajko's committed something. So I'm in Tomajko's position. I like going for the greedy play here. Try to find land number 2, starts really unlocking your hand. And the downside risk of not killing Thing in the Ice this turn is not the highest.
Well, he found a land. Arid Mesa. Looks like he's been discarding a couple copies of Creeping Chill now.
Yeah.
He's been running into those in the wrong spots at this stage. And Tomajko's found a couple lands because he's got a Copperline Gorge over there in addition to the Arid Mesa. The land this turn will be Copperline Gorge. That is going to return a Bloodghast. And this might be a Lightning Axe. He's second-guessing himself a little bit here. Yeah, okay. There's a Lightning Axe discarding a Shriekhorn.
Yeah, the question was, do you want to play Shriekhorn and try to get a Dredger going and hope to get rid of Thing in the Ice next turn, or play it safe? And I think Tomajko there, not willing to risk Sasser being able to play 4 spells this turn and transform Thing in the Ice.
Here's Manamorphose.
And Tomajko already rewarded for that intuition, because Manamorphose makes it pretty easy to get to 4 spells the following turn.
Oh, here's a sleight of hand. Red mana floating here for Drake. Take a look at the top couple of cards. He's found one that he's been happy with. He's found one that he's happy with. Pardon me, very quickly. So he added that to his hand. Another card, of course, goes to the bottom of the deck. Next up here for Sasser. Keep in mind he hasn't played a land. It is his 3rd turn of the game. There's his team events untapped. He'll fall down to 18. And now it's a Thought Scour. Still has a red mana floating. No Arclight Phoenix just yet. Unclear what he's on the hunt for. Doesn't seem thrilled, though. Does have a copy of Surgical Extraction in hand at the moment.
Does not seem great to take care. I mean, I guess one option is he can Gut Shot and Surgical the Bloodghast, or he can Surgical the Faithless Looting and try to slow things down. But with Tomajko not really having produced anything of note so far, not that much pressure, I think I would hold tight.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any move to be made here for Drake just yet. So we head back over to Oliver. Easiest part of this turn for Oliver is probably attacking with Bloodghast, but we shall see how the young man would like to navigate his 3rd turn of Game 2. Shriekhorn is where he'll start, and he'll go active. 1 is a Copperline Gorge, 2 is a Blood Grip, so a couple of lands we place into the graveyard. That is an Arid Mesa. Here is an attack for 2. Sasser's going to fall down to 16. And that's going to be it for Oliver. So, not the most explosive 3rd turns. We head back over to Drake Sasser. And that will be a Serum Vision. So draw a card and scry 2. Sleight of hand. Looks like Arclight Phoenix among those cards. And Drake's going to leave both of those there. Now next is Faithless Looting. So, 1 and 2. Arclight Phoenixes, I think, maybe? I know he's got at least 1. So Arclight Phoenix will be joined by Polluted Delta in the graveyard. Third spell for this deck is so easy. Here's a sleight of hand again. And Drake has found the card he's happy with. Is it time for the Phoenix to come back yet? Or does he have more to do on main phase 1? He does not. So, Arclight Phoenix is going to come back from the graveyard. Here's an attack for 3. Tomajko's going to fall down to 15 while Sasser is at 16. Sasser will play Esteem Vents tapped. Still has Surgical Extraction in hand and pass the turn back over to Tomajko. Tomajko will untap. We'll see if he wants to activate Tree Corner on the upkeep. He does. Prized Amalgam and Bloodstained Mire are the cards that are placed into the graveyard. So no Dredger just yet. Stinkweed, Imp, and Cathartic Reunion in hand here for Oliver.
And 3 cards. I mean, you got to be a little worried about Surgical here if you're Tomajko, but you got to get something going here.
Well, he's certainly going to try, discarding Cathartic Reunion and a Stinkweed Imp. Surgical Extraction is going to blow this up. The good news here for Tomajko is he still does get to draw 3 cards.
Yeah, this could be a lot worse. And I think this is a fine spot here for Sasser to pick to pick some sort of fight, because Sasser's draw is a little bit on the slow side, and this might buy you several turns before Tomajko can get the ball rolling again. But you are right, Tomajko's going to get 3 cards, and that's a lot of looks at something to get a Dredger online, particularly because Tomajko still has Faithless Looting in the graveyard.
Tomajko will shuffle, present to Drake, I'm sure, and then he'll be drawing 3 cards off of the Cathartic Reunion. Still more work to be done here for Oliver. This isn't the end of the world to lose those Stinkweed Imps. It could have been a more explosive turn, of course, but 3 cards coming nonetheless. So, Narcomoeba, Prized Amalgam, and a land. Not the best. Here comes Bloodcast. Drake will fall down to 12. And back to number 14 on the SCD Tour leaderboard, at least for right now. He's going to be climbing up that thing in a big way come Wednesday morning.
Looks like Thing in the Ice was his draw for the turn.
Not a bad draw. We know it's a good card in the matchup. Though, again, it's a weird spot where it doesn't have a ton to do right now.
Sasser's used up a lot of stuff. Still got Faithless Lootings in the graveyard, but at this point he might prefer trying to run Tomajko down as fast as possible rather than control the board.
And there is the Thing in the Ice. 4 ice counters on it.
Pretty free here to open up by flashback of Faithless Looting. Can only improve your hand, and it's 1 spell down. You don't really want to save it in the graveyard for future Arclight Phoenixes because you had none to work with. So,
and there's yep. All right, Faithless Looting on the flashback, down to 3 ice counters on the Thing in the Ice. Draw 2 cards, and of course discard 2 here for Sasser. Looks like he's going to be discarding a Thing in the Ice and a land, because that's what he's considering. And now here comes Arclight Phoenix. It's 12-12.
I guess the concern here from Sasser's side is Tomajko's about to draw up to card number 4, and that will allow him to configure the Thing in the Ice.
Leyline of the Void did come in after sideboard. He dredged that in a Prized Amalgam, and now he'll draw a card for the turn. That is somewhat concerning, the conflagrate that can take care of the Thing in the Ice. Well, if Thing in the Ice elects to block, it's less cards you have to use. Now here's what's interesting to me. Actually, let's see. Tomajko has 4 cards, and then I'm sure he would love to be able to conflagrate for 5 and deal 4 to the Thing in the Ice and 1 to his own Bloodghast, and then crack the fetch and get back the Bloodghast, which would get back the Amalgams.
Yeah, is there just a way, or I mean, you can just cross your fingers and hope here with Sasser down to 2 cards in hand plus his draw step, that if he's just a little land heavy right now, you might be able to do what you're describing, tag your Bloodghast, maybe Sasser, maybe the Phoenix, depending on exactly what you're discarding, and try to present an overwhelming battlefield.
This will be interesting. Three. Yep. So he's going to deal his Bloodghast 1, and I believe Sasser 2. So Bloodghast will die. Land will enter the battlefield tapped. There's your Bloodghast. There's your 3 amalgams, presenting a real issue. And we'll see what Sasser can do about it. Remember, Tomajko had the opportunity to kill that thing in the ice.
Yeah, but then you have no treasures, you have nothing going on at all, and Sasser still has a bunch of spells in his hand. I think this is a fine gamble.
Well, we're going to find out right now. Sasser's going to start things off with a Manamorphose.
I do not think Tomajko's putting himself in a winning position here by killing thing in the ice and then just playing Bloodghast versus Arclight Phoenix.
Lightning Bolt was the draw. That might just be lethal or very close to it by itself. He's also got a Gut Shot and a Thought Scour in hand, so transforming thing in the ice is not difficult for Drake to do. He's going to start by Lightning Bolting. Looks like Oliver. Thing in the ice falls down to 1 ice counter. Here's a Gut Shot. He's going to go upstairs with that. That will transform. That will make Oliver pick up all of those things. Drake's got to pick up his Arclight Phoenix. Don't think he has the ability to replay it, actually.
Yeah, and a mana floating.
Yeah, a mana floating. Then he does, and that's easy breezy. So Drake Sasser is going to win game number 2 here over Oliver Tomajko. As Is It Phoenix and Dredge will get ready for a third and final one that is oh so important for both of these players.
A lot of dollars, a lot of points. Opportunity to get to the Players' Championship. A lot at stake on this last game.
You got to wonder, too, if you're Ethan Gajewski or anybody else that's on the leaderboard that these guys are about to jump. I think you're rooting who are you rooting for? You're rooting for the player that has more points or less points? Probably Drake, right, since he's got less points?
I think I'd be rooting for Drake. You just got to balance out the – you got to balance
the points, right? Yeah. So your Ethan Gajewskis and your Austin Collins, your Dominic Harveys, and everyone need Drake to win this one to have a puncher's chance 2 weeks from now at the Invitational.
Gotta say, they give a lot of thoughts to the types of prompts you get on these new laptops, tablet in front of you.
Okay.
Battery is running low.
Yes, it is.
You may want to consider plugging it in.
They're very nice.
Not plug in your laptop, but just so you know, you may want to consider plugging it in.
You may be fine with it just dying.
You may want to run all the battery out, too.
Yeah.
We're not here to judge. Thank you, polite laptop.
It's good to have options.
Yeah.
It's good to have
something
options.
to consider.
One thing I can tell you about both these players, we're going to see them a lot on Season 2 of the SCG Tour, whether they qualify for the Players' Championship or not, and perhaps we'll see them to kick things off in Pittsburgh for our Team Modern Open at the end of June. Then we head to Worcester in July, where Drake Sasser won his first Open. Philly after that, a little stop in Columbus, one of my favorite cities. Richmond for a Team Constructed Open. Dallas for a Modern Open. Syracuse, which, hey,
you and me.
We're going.
I'll be there.
We're going.
I'll be there.
Possibilities, among other places, is where we'll be. Then we'll do a little show in Philly, where we're still working on getting the formats announced for that, along with Indianapolis. The StarCityGames.com Regional Championships. They'll be modern. We'll have more details for you later on this year. We'll go to Atlanta, a city we haven't been to in a little while. And then in the month of November, just one event, SCGKY Winter, featuring the Star City Games Invitational. And then just one event in December, and that is the StarCityGames.com Players Championship, December 13th through the 15th. Playmats aplenty, of course. I believe it's Captain's Quarters, if I remember, for our standard playmat. There it is, by Titus Lunter. For our modern playmat, drawn by John Avon, it is Aurora's Light. And this is the Minotaur, actually, that designed the Minnesota airport.
Yes, there it is.
That one.
Pulled from a different reality, and here to subject his horrible vision onto an unsuspecting world.
Ripped from Reality is the name of that playmat for our Legacy Opening Classic players. These playmats are free and exclusive. They also go to Infinite Challenge or Seal Spectacular package purchasers as well. Go to StarCityGames.com/schedule for more information. We hope to see you guys at all of our stops on Season 2. Pick up those awesome playmats, play some awesome Magic. Let's have some awesome turnouts in Season 2 like we did here in Louisville. 711 players.
Great turnout.
Heck yeah.
Great turnout.
You know, Louisville, quietly, one of my favorite places to do a tournament.
I love it here. I love it here.
I've been playing Magic here since college.
Yep.
Played a lot of PTQs here in my 20s. It was only about 3 hours, about 3.5 hours from Purdue, which was pretty awesome. Convention space is great. Good restaurants. We had a great dinner yesterday. We'll be going there again today.
I nearly moved down south a couple of years ago, back when the commentary thing was first starting.
Yeah?
You know this.
I know you're going to go to Atlanta, right?
I thought about moving to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Maybe Athens or Asheville had considered the area. Didn't work out because I decided that I wanted to kind of stay involved in game design at least for a little while, and then, just bounced around Southern California rudderlessly for some years until washing up in Denver. But for a while I was considering moving, and had I known about Louisville at the time, I think this would have been on my short list.
It's a mountain to start. Here's a Faithless Looting. We are underway in our third and final game of the finals, our last one here of the weekend in the Louisville Convention Center. Oliver will be discarding 2 cards. It's a Bloodghast and I believe a Life from the Loans. We head over to Sasser. Remember, once again, Drake has 3 copies of Surgical Extraction in his sideboard. That, of course, he's sideboarded in. You can see the exact deck list on Cardboard Live. Big shout out to them, making the viewing experience for everyone at home that much better. Drake will start with an island.
Took a pause there and put his hand down. If he's got a Surgical in his hand, the stakes are already very high and very complicated.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that pause as well.
There's some strategies that you can use against Dredge. Some people like to go after the Dredge cards. Some people like to go at the creatures, the few ways they have to win the game. Some people think it's kind of contextual depending on what the game looks like. And Tomajko on the first turn already presenting Sasser with that choice. You can go after a threat card, or you can go after my 1 Dredger.
Well, Serum Visions is going to show you that a Surgical Extraction just got scryed to the top of the deck. Now, I'm not sure if Sasser has one in his hand or not, but either way, we're going to see some dredging take place with a couple of Bloodghasts.
All right, well, I think we'll see it now if it's here.
I think I agree.
You wouldn't want to wait here, because if Tomajko plays a fetch land, then he can play around the Surgical.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that Sasser went in the tank and kind of looked down there, if I'm Tomajko, I'm worried that he has it. And he's pausing. I mean, it's a concern of Tomajko's too.
I might not be buying it.
Well, at this point, no, because he would have responded. He would have responded to the Dredge there. Once the 3, I think that's way too much.
Narcomoeba among the discards. There's a mountain. Bloodghasts, plural, coming back from the graveyard. Oliver knows he's clear for takeoff now. What he doesn't know is that Sasser's drawing a copy of Surgical Extraction with it off of the Serum Vision Scry.
And now we'll see what Sasser can even do with the Surgical. The horse is already out of the barn a little bit here.
Yep. Really great start here for Tomajko.
Risky. I mean, he had a lot of eggs in that basket. He didn't know he was dredging into 2 more Bloodghasts, but he's got to be pretty thrilled with how that turn went.
Steam Vent's going to enter the battlefield untapped. It'll be Thing in the Ice. Actually, pardon me, it's going to be Manamorphose to start. There's the Thing in the Ice. So, does Tomajko have Lightning Axe? The answer is yes. Discarding Life from the Loam. He'll get to Dredge. Stinkweed Imp, Cathartic Reunion, and Narcomoeba. Narcomoeba will join the fray. So Sasser has that Surgical Extraction, but he's not interested in using it on anything just yet. Next is a Stomping Ground that's going to enter the battlefield untapped here for Oliver. He would like to flashback Faithless Looting. I think, now I think Drake's got to move. Yep. He's got to remove Stinkweed Imp with Surgical Extraction. He's going to fall down to 16, and after the attacks, he's going to fall down to 10. The hand here for Tomajko is Creeping Chill and Life from the Loam.
Yeah, I mean, Tomajko, for a deck that's this sort of homogenous, he has a bunch of different angles of attack right now. He's got the battlefield, he's got Loam as a backup dredger, and he has the threat of just playing towards Conflict if Sasser takes too long here.
And we can't forget about the Creeping Chill that's in hand that he can just hard cast, because dealing 3 right now is pretty real.
Yeah, another. Now I think the sideboard card that Sasser really needs, even more than Surgical Extraction, is Anger of the Gods.
Sure.
That's his way to play catch up here. But failing that, even his anti-graveyard measures, I think, are not going to be worth much from this point. He's already too far behind on the battlefield to catch up that way.
Faithless Looting will now resolve. Tomajko will draw 2 cards, and of course discard 2 cards here in just a moment. There goes a Life from the Loam and a Conflict Rate. Here's an attack for 6. Sasser is down to 10.
That's the other part about this. Sasser's already dealt himself 4, 2 off Steam Vents and 2 off Surgical Extraction.
So we're going to head back over to Drake, who is in some serious trouble, folks. There's a sleight of hand.
More good news here for Tomajko. That means there's no possibility of Anger of the Gods this turn.
There's that sleight of hand resolving. Sometimes this dredge deck can just put you under more pressure than you expect early. This start doesn't happen that often, but you know it could just be a Bloodghast plus Prize Malcolm start. Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, you assume if you're in Sasser's spot, you look at your turn 1 Serum Vision. Maybe your opening hand is a little bit shaky, but you see a top 2 of Thing in the Ice and Surgical Extraction. You got to feel like you're at least going to get off the ground. Maybe you don't win the game, but you're at least going to get to play back a little bit. And that turn 2 Thing in the Ice and turn 2 Surgical Extraction, much too slow for Tomajko's draw.
And there's Serum Visions, draw a card, scry 2.
And at this point, I think anything that isn't Anger of the Gods has got to go to the bottom. And Sasser's still even missing the second red source of mana.
Mm-hmm.
And we might not even get to play another turn here. It's just 7 coming across and the Conflict Rate in the graveyard.
Yeah, and that could just be the game all by itself.
Yep.
Drake is taking a long look at his hand right now. He has Arclight Phoenix, Faithless Looting, Spell Pierce.
And this is really, this is almost exactly how you draw it up from the dredge side in this matchup. You take game 1 on the play with a draw that's too fast, and in one of the sideboard games you have a fast opening with Lightning Axe for Thing in the Ice.
Yep.
Textbook.
You can tell Drake is not feeling great about how things are looking right now. Didn't get a great look at what he's thinking about with the scry. It looks like Manamorphose is among those cards. It's Thing in the Ice, too. Okay. That Thing in the Ice might just be too slow.
Well, he can't cast it this turn. Mm-hmm. And next turn, it's ambitious here to think that you can play Thing in the Ice and transform it all in one shot with 4 mana. Not impossible, but requires multiple copies of Manamorphose.
Ambitious is the word I would use. It would take a lot. It's not impossible, though.
But he can't even spend his last mana this turn because he got to at least leave up the threat of Spell Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
If he taps out, then Tomajko could just move into combat, attack, and cast a spell. That's it.
On the flip side, it might be easy for Tomajko to beat Spell Pierce. Not sure. Faithless Looting. Draw 2. Discard 2. One of them is obviously going to be a Phoenix. Looks like it's Phoenix and Polluted Delta. Arclight is back. It's not going to attack.
No.
I've got a feeling. Oliver going to take a look through his graveyard a little bit. The main options there are that stack highlighted by Life in the Loam with a Conflagrate and a Faithless Looting down there. Now Drake does have another Surgical in hand.
But he's just too low for that.
I think he might be. Will Oliver dredge or just draw? He'll dredge Life in the Loam. One is a Creeping Chill. I think that Creeping Chill is more than enough to get the job done here, potentially.
It cuts off the Surgical.
Well, I suppose you can remove Creeping Chill with Surgical with it on the stack.
But then the Conflagrate just gets you. There's no...
It's too many angles.
Yeah, there's too much going on here.
Yep. So there it is. He's going to lose a Creeping Chill in hand. You cast Loam.
Sasser's falling to two from combat, and there's 2 cards in Tomajko's hand.
I presume that there are enough lands in Oliver's graveyard to be able to get this back. Because the question is, how many lands does he actually have in the graveyard to get back with Loam? Actually, no, he doesn't need it. He has 2 cards in hand.
He can literally
He has 2 cards in hand. Nope, you're right.
Yeah.
Doesn't need anything else.
And you don't have to worry about Gut Shot because it's the same from a
You're totally
life
right.
total perspective.
There's your block. Down to 2. Here's your Conflagrate. See you later. Oliver Tomajko is going to win this game and match here over Drake Sasser. 2-1. A finals loss last weekend. A finals win this weekend. He